What about this? Because this was thrown. You got 10 road games left, okay? What would you set the over-under at for how many of these they should win? 10 road games left. You know their record is, what are we at, 7-24?
Yep.
7-24 to this point. Everybody understands the context there. But here are the 10 road games left for the Golden State Warriors. You got the Thunder tonight. You got the Grizzlies on Thursday. Then after they come home, they go back out on the road. Clippers, Hawks, Grizz back-to-back. And then Rockets, Mavericks, Nuggets, Kings, Blazers.
5-5, Mark.
Oh.
5-5.
That feels optimistic based on what you've been saying about their road woes.
Well, they've got 3 teams that are terrible, 3 teams that are basically trying to lose in Portland, Atlanta, and Houston.
Portland's not trying to lose.
No, but Portland stinks.
Portland's in the play-in tournament.
Portland, I'm not scared by Portland at all.
Okay, but they're not
Atlanta
terrible.
and Houston, those are wins. If you take tonight's game, I think tonight's game is a game that you should win. You're favored. So I'm going to give you tonight's win.
Okay.
And I got you losing to Memphis both times, losing to Dallas, losing to the Clippers, and losing to Denver. Those are my 5 losses. I got wins over Atlanta, Houston, Portland, Oklahoma City, and that other game that's on the schedule.
Well, I couldn't keep track of all that.
OKC, Portland, Atlanta,
OKC,
Houston,
Portland, Atlanta, Houston,
Sacramento. I got them beating the Kings.
Oh, you got to beat the Kings.
Yeah. The beam will not be lit on April 7th.
Gosh,
5-5.
Can we do a side visual for a second? What would a Warriors Kings playoff series feel like? What would that feel like?
It would feel like the champs in a can't win situation. You're expected to beat the Kings, even though the Kings would be favored because they have the home court. They're the higher seed. They wouldn't be favored.
I don't know if that
the Kings would be the higher seed. The Kings would have home court, but the Warriors would be expected to beat the Sacramento Kings, a team that has not even been to the playoffs in 16 years. So, to me, that's a can't-win situation for Golden State. Even if you sweep Sacramento, well, that would be great because then you'd get a week off ahead of the next series. That would be nice.
That feels impressive. I think that's a can-win scenario.
I guess you're right, but if you lose to the Kings in a playoff series, my God, I don't care if they're the 2 and you're the 7.
It would feel
inexcusable.
It would feel like a changing of the guard. The problem is the only way that feels acceptable, the way you want this historically, if this were a movie, right? The champs, and they've been the champs for a long time, and then who's going to finally take them down? Whoever that is, especially if it's the young up-and-coming team, you want them to feel like, well, they're going to be the next big thing. I don't think we feel that way yet about the Kings. The Kings have a beam. They score a lot of points. We got the Mike Brown tie. Like the Kings, should we do it? Should we say the lovely Christie's favorite word? They're very, very plucky.
Super plucky.
And I know that's probably super offensive, but until you go to the playoffs and win series, you get that word. I hate doing this to the Kings, but it feels adorable. Like they're so cute. They're so cute. And I bet
that's so disrespectful. It's really disrespectful.
I know, but tell me I'm wrong. They wear purple. You don't even know. I know De'Aaron Fox, they're very good, but there's no superstar recognizable bad guy. Even Mike Brown, nicest human being on the face of the earth. They're up there in Sacramento. It's just adorable. The whole thing's adorable. Now, it's not if they go win. If they go win, that changes the whole thing. But if the Warriors are going to get taken down, you want it to be by the next big thing. And I don't think the Kings feel like that yet.
No, but if things end the way they end right now, Sacramento plays Minnesota in a first-round series. And I would love Sacramento's chances to beat Minnesota in that 3-6 matchup. Yeah. It would be Denver and the 8 seed coming out of the play-in. It would be Memphis and the 7 seed, either Dallas or the Clippers. And then Warriors and Suns, first-round tussle.
Well, I mean, all of this changes on a night-to-night basis.
Right.
The Kings are a half game out of the 2, and the T-Wolves are a half game out of being in the play-in tournament. So I don't know how that's going to play, but I tell you what, here's one thing I will say, is whoever the Kings are playing in that first round, to me, as a Warrior fan, that is the second most watchable playoff series. Like
whoever the Kings are playing.
I just want to watch them in the playoffs. I'm looking forward to that. No matter who they play, I'm going to just whack them.
I know, seriously. Just knock that thing out of the way.
Sorry, I'm not Italian, but sometimes I talk with my hands. Kyle, would your head pop off your body if the Warriors play the Kings in the playoffs?
No.
Like, would you be able to handle that?
I would probably not be on the internet a lot just because of my ties to Sacramento. I follow so many Kings fans, and they just they're already like, "Oh yeah, best team," and know that. Like, shut up. Like, win a playoff series.
But you kind of feel like a Kings fan, but you're a Warriors fan.
No, I'm not a Kings fan.
Yeah,
I just follow them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you can tell they're new here because the reason they've been so good is because they try super hard every single regular season game. They've won so many games this year because you can tell the other team's like, meh. And the Kings are like, hustle, 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 get to every rebound, get to every loose ball. And they win, and now they're in the 2 seed, and that's great. But I still have my reservations about them in the playoffs.
Well,
for sure.
I think that's a factor with what we're talking about here as far as the road record for the Warriors. Like, this is an aspect of the NBA I can't stand. However, there's no escaping it, which is we're assessing on a week-by-week, month-by-month basis how hard our team's trying. And the Warriors, I think, as we've discussed, I think they've reached a spot where their intensity on the court, at least particularly in second halves, has been exactly where you would want it to be as a fan. But I still think there's a bigger issue with the Warriors, which is they kind of chill. They like if the
65 games worth right now.
They chill until they're like, well, now you got to really hit. You got to hit the gas hard now.
And it's worked, and I think that comes to the Andrew Wiggins question as well, because if Andrew Wiggins is not enduring something that is really debilitating to him individually and physically, he will be back. And I think he'll be back before we get to April. There's only 2 games in April before the playoffs, so you'd want to get Andrew Wiggins at least a week or so of game action in order to ramp up for the playoffs. But you're right, the Warriors are the poster child for this new NBA, which is the regular season doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Well, if you look at the regular season in the West right now, you've got 2 teams who have punted, and they're at the bottom. They're hoping for Victor Wembanyama. Yep. You got Denver, who's been just so dominant at home, 30-4. Memphis has been good with a 603 clip, but there's only been a couple, 2 or 3 teams that have actually given a crap all year.
The funny thing is, though, we say the regular season doesn't matter, yet you lose a game and you go from the 5 to the 9, and it's like, well, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, that's going to – how different is that? Like, the Warriors right now are, let's see, they're 3 games clear of the 9 seed. So that's good, like, because 3 games right now is a lot. But they're only 1 game clear of the 8 seed.
And they're only 3 games clear of the 12 seed. If you want to look at it, there's 4 teams with the same record.
3 games feels like a lot, though, right now.
It does.
I don't see teams like, I don't think you're going to, because in particular, you got to overcome all these other teams that are in between you also.
But if you look at head-to-head matchups, the Warriors still have head-to-head matchups with the Mavericks, with the Clippers, with Portland. These are all teams who are below them. So those are games that are full 1-game switcheroos. Now, the reason why I said the regular season is meaningless because 34-31 for the Warriors, and you're the 5 seed. And you're surrounded by a bunch of other teams who have treated the regular season largely the same way, where as long as we're around 500 when we get to March, then we can flip the switch and make something happen. And that's unfortunate because if you look at Memphis all the way down to Oklahoma City, you're only separated by 8 games after 5 months of basketball.
Yeah, I feel like it switched, though. Something about a week and a half ago, just in watching NBA games, the intensity looked like it ramped up to me. It really did. So, because I think these teams realize now it does matter. Like, every win sort of feels like 2 because you're likely playing somebody who's near you in the standings. Take tonight. Is Oklahoma City coming out desperate tonight? They've won 2 in a row. They are the last place team in the bunch of teams in the Western Conference. Yet, they're only 3.5 games behind the Warriors. They are the 13 seed.
Right.
And the 3.5 games behind the Warriors for the 5 seed. So, do the Thunder come out with their hair on fire tonight?
Absolutely.
Shea is back. And so, that's that's going to be a difficult environment in theory. Speaking of watching the Warriors and being in on the environment, we've been telling you about it so far this week and want to keep letting you know. 2 tickets to the Warriors versus the Wembanyamas. That's my name for the Spurs. They play each other at Chase on March 31st. And all you got to do to find your way in is listen to 95.7 The Game. But you got to do it on the Odyssey app or 957thegame.com. The longer you listen, the more chances you're going to have to win. So you get 1 entry for every hour that you listen on the app or at 957thegame.com. Every hour you listen becomes, poof, another chance to win. Up to 8 entries per day. So all you got to do is download the Odyssey app. Don't wait. Tickets courtesy of the Warriors. And as always, go to Warriors.com for your tickets to see the Warriors play. And when you do that, the Warriors win because they play at Chase Center.
Right.
They don't lose those games.
No, they're pretty good at Chase Center. Not the best home team by any stretch, but they're up there. Denver 30-4, Memphis 26-5. Over in the East, you've got a couple teams with better home records, but the Warriors at 27-7. They've been a pretty reliable bet. 7-24 on the road, which is beyond dreadful.
So before we go to the phones here, I want to go back to the original question, which was sort of the over-under. Kyle threw this out before the show. The Warriors currently have 7 road wins, right?
Yeah.
He said, what if I set the over-under for the end of the year at 10.5?
Oh, I'm going over.
Which is
it's an easy over.
Surprises me. It really does. Like, I don't know. Like, I get what I would too. I really would too.
I think 11.5 becomes a more compelling line because can they win 4 road games? Absolutely. You got Memphis twice without Ja, and it looks like they won't have Ja.
Well,
the reports are
at
that
least
he's
for the
going.
first one.
Well, there was rumors that he's going into substance counseling. So those are unconfirmed rumors in the streets.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet.
Which might take him out for a longer period of time. He needs some time to get his act together. He's going to be gone more than 2 games, I believe.
It's interesting. I guess, could this, if we take a minute on this, the latest official report, as we talked about yesterday, Colorado police investigating Ja Morant for that video in the nightclub, the Gentleman's Club, after the game in Denver last week. I did do some reading in terms of the Colorado gun laws. It's an open carry state. However, if they can somehow prove that Ja had been drinking, then that's illegal. He cannot carry and have a weapon on him and drink. So you don't see that in the video,
right?
But that's the kind of investigation that's ongoing. I also, though, I got the sense that even the laws that sit in Colorado, if he is found guilty of any of these, this is not like a Plaxico burst. Like he's not going to jail. That does not. The Colorado laws on this are not New York.
Correct.
Very, very,
correct.
Very different.
He could face a year in jail and up to $1,000 fine. Could. Now I agree with you. Probably is not going to, but he absolutely was drinking. And whether or not you could see it in the video, I don't know if you've seen some of his IG videos and his postings of him just straight chugging tequila and pounding Hennessy. He definitely loves the sauce.
Yeah, but you have to. Can you prove that?
Well, you can go to the bar that he was at, and I think it was called Shotgun Willie's, coincidentally enough. And even though he had a little baby pistol.
True story.
A cute little baby pistol.
Story. Shotgun Willie's.
So you can get his credit card receipt. You can get his bar tab. These are things that you can absolutely.
But you could say, I bought those drinks for somebody else.
Sure.
You'd have to go to cameras.
Yes.
You'd have to go to cameras.
And I believe that in a strip club, you've got cameras.
I'm sure they've got
Odds are, you got cameras. So, and I don't know how many other videos he has on his phone from that night. Maybe they can access his phone and get some of those videos. The point is, at Memphis on March 9th, at Memphis on March 18th, I don't believe Ja's going to be at either one of those games.
Yeah.
Which makes those games much more winnable. So for me, you asked me what I thought they would do on the road over the final 10, 5-5.
Okay.
That would put them at 12 road wins. I'm going over 10.5.
So wait, where are they at right? If the Warriors right now are 34-31, that adds up to 65. That means they've got 17 games. So there's 7 home games left with the 10 road games. So if you put them at 5-5 on the road, What do you think at home? They got some toughies in there.
Yeah,
They got Phoenix and Milwaukee coming up. But let's say it even doesn't go great. Let's say they go 4-3.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, so if they go 4-3, you're putting them at 9-8 the rest of the way and finishing the year with 43 wins.
Yeah, 43-39.
What seed does this give them?
Probably the 5 seed, and maybe the 6 seed. But I don't like the chances of teams below them.
Yeah, interesting. By the way, while we're having before,
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I whacked my microphone earlier. You do whatever the hell you want around here. Report from Mark Stein that just came out that is actually less about Colorado law and more about NBA law. Collective bargaining agreement says if there is a firearm on a team premises, which includes the plane, that is an automatic 50-game suspension. So that's why the league is trying to ascertain where the gun was before the Instagram video. So where is Ja's gun?
Yeah.
Is now the question for the league.
That's the Javaris Crittenden and Gilbert Arenas rule.
Yeah.
Because famously they brought guns in the locker room after a Boo-Ray game gone wrong where one of the two owed the other guy money, and so they decided to settle it with pistols.